Let's say that we as a company are writing a lot of code. We are a software company, and obviously, just like most people are, we are using Copilot, right, to develop code. From a risk perspective, you want to make sure review is very important, right? That most of these codes just don't go through without any reviews and approvals, which means that you're going to put some sort of a review control, branch protection policies and review controls on your GitHub. Now, let's say that this is the context. As a GRC professional, what would you do to translate that requirement to an engineer? What will be the role of the GRC engineer to review those branch protection policies, to review those reviews? And what should be the role of the control owner or the engineer? Can you break it down for us?
There would be a requirement, right, from a standard or framework, from SOC 2, trust criteria, or ISO, or whatever kind of framework that you need to baseline against. I would say something like, okay, you got to have a change management process, SDLC process, which includes the legacy segregation of duties, requirement, which requires a second set of eyes, right, to do a code review or to do an approval, so one developer cannot push their own code change through end to end without being logged or second set of eyes. So that GRC would come in and say, hey, this is the risk and the overall intent of this requirement. What are we doing today, engineering team or security team, that you believe can meet this requirement in the natural flow of your process, of your engineering process? If you're not doing something natural, like I don't want to force something that's unnatural just for compliance. So they're going to say, okay, well, we're using, the CI/CD pipeline. We use like GitHub or GitLab, and hey, we have this configuration available in the tooling that says all merge requests, all pull requests, require code review or approval when you're merging to main branch, for example. So then GRC team would be like, okay, well, yes, that's an option. If you're doing that, that's great. I mean, that's a very common way of implementing a control to meet this requirement. But after that, it's like, that doesn't stop there. Some teams like, you check the box, great. And the auditors come in and like, oh, is that box checked? Great. Is it centrally, enforced? If so, great. That's the only screenshot you need. If it's not centrally enforced and all the different repos can configure it differently, then it gets more messy. You got to test more things. So the GRC team, that's the superpower that I believe the GRC comes and says, okay, you set the configuration. Who can change it? If something changes, who gets alerted? How do we get notified? Are there any ways to bypass this, right? Because there's always like a bypass, method that's off of the happy path. Like everybody's thinking about happy path only. GRC comes in and says, okay, what is the non-happy path? Is there a way to kind of bypass this, right? And that's the biggest risk area, is like, how do we develop, build monitors or alerts, to be alerted, to be notified, to identify, when these things are.